Today we're tasting 3 red wines from the Hunter Valley, all made from the classic Hunter red grape variety Shiraz, and from 3 outstanding producers in the Hunter Valley. 3 different vintages as well, curiously enough. The first one we're going to taste is Mount Pleasant, Old Paddock and Old Hill, otherwise known as OP and OH. The second one is Brokenwood, and this is their regular Hunter Valley Shiraz 2019. And thirdly, we have Hungerford Hill 2020 Shiraz. 3 excellent wines, I think we'll find. I'm Hugh and Hook, and you're watching The Real Review. Today we're tasting the Mount Pleasant wines OP and OH, or Old Paddock and Old Hill, which is a Shiraz from the Hunter 2018 vintage, and from some of the oldest and most distinguished vineyards in the whole of the Hunter Valley. Let's have a taste of this wine. It's one of my favourite Hunter wines, I have to say. OP and OH. It's got a very long and proud history. And lovely deep colour, and the bouquet is very much a typical Hunter bouquet. It's not just a matter of simple fruits like cherries or raspberries. There is spice, there is earthiness, there is a stony sort of ironstone mineral sort of character there. It's very hard to describe, but it's very interesting and very complex. But the good thing is that it's not just simple fruit. There's all sorts of complexities there, which I think come from great terroir. Intense flavour, lively, elegant. It's not a big wine, it's medium to full-bodied, this wine, and that's pretty typical of the way Hunter Shiraz normally is. The tannins in this wine are very soft and fine. The whole palate is beautifully integrated and seamless. There are no sharp edges to it. There is intense flavour which lasts for a long time on the palate. The food that we've recommended to have with this wine is a cheese souffle. And I think that cheese generally in its many guises goes really well with a wine such as this. The wine I'm about to taste is Brokenwood 2019 vintage Hunter Valley Shiraz. Very famous, of course, for its graveyard vineyard Shiraz, which is its top, most expensive wine. Comes from the vineyard right beside the winery called the Graveyard. And this wine comes from that same vineyard, but it's not Graveyard, it's little brother of Graveyard, if you like. It's made from young vines from that vineyard and also declassified Graveyard itself. So, you know, the barrels that didn't get into Graveyard, which is about $300 a bottle, ended up in this wine, which is about $50 a bottle. So, considering its provenance, that's pretty good value for money. And really aromatic, this wine. I get a lot of peppercorns, crushed peppercorns, which is not a typical Hunter characteristic. You tend to find pepper more in the cooler climate Shirazes of Australia, but this has got some. There are earthy, graphite and black fruit characters, black cherry, blackberry. Very good. Smoky, there's a touch of that earthy, smoky sort of character that Hunter Valley wines often have. Medium-bodied, medium to full-bodied. Soft tannins, elegant, beautifully balanced. The oak is not evident. You can't smell and taste oak, although you know it's there, adding extra facets to the wine. Lovely fine tannins, powdery tannins, but not overpowering. It doesn't dry the finish out too much. Lovely ripe sweet fruit middle palate. Gorgeous. What did we say as a food accompaniment? We recommended a Neil Perry recipe, which is a slow-braised shoulder of lamb. And I think that that would be superb with this wine. It's making my mouth water. I want some right now. The wine we're about to taste is Hungerford Hill Hunter Valley Shiraz 2020. The winemaker today is Brian Curry, very distinguished winemaker, and he has presented a 2020 Shiraz, which not many people in the Hunter are able to do because of the bushfire smoke problem of the 2019-2020 summer. Why is this wine available? It's because I happen to know that the vines that produce this wine are from the Dalwood vineyard, which Hungerford Hill also owns. And Dalwood is quite a long way from the Brokenwood range and from Paddock Central. It's away from the area where the smoke tended to gather. So they didn't have any smoke problems at Dalwood at all. And sniff it, it's got very, very fresh primary fruit character. So it's all about black plums, maybe even some preserved plum aromas coming through there. Blackberries, really ripe dark fruit characters dominating this wine. Very youthful, very fresh, very primal. That is a very, very good wine. It's got excellent intensity of flavour. Even though it's young, it's not massively big or tannic or heavy. It's classic Hunter Valley, medium to full-bodied Shiraz. Tannins are soft. There's plenty of tannin there, but they're not domineering. They're not tannins that crunch your tongue. They're tannins that caress your tongue. Good length of flavour, fills the whole mouth. If there's one negative about it, it's just young, and it will build complexity of flavour and character. If you keep it for even just 4 or 5 years, it will make this wine into a much more interesting wine. It's pretty good now. If you're going to drink it now, you need pretty powerful, pretty fresh food characters like rare steak or even raw steak. And so we're proposing steak tartare. Not just any steak tartare, but a Japanese take on steak tartare, which is slightly different to the classic French version, which you find in every brasserie in Paris. Good health. If you've enjoyed this, follow us and subscribe to The Real Review.